kainduse twagali pengete uyo wakuchaikwa twangwa magole sunu twagalile kainduse twagali pengete uyo wakuchaikwa twangwa magole sunu twagalilela gaga ae twagalilela.
Southern Province is one of the 10 provinces Zambia holds, located in the southern part of the country. It is home to the indigenous Batonga-speaking people with diverse dialects that form the Bantu Botatwe, who are the Ila, Tonga, and Lenje people. The province is known to be a rich historical place in Zambia's political independence, whose significance dates back to the British colonial rule. The province hosted the first administration building in the then Northern Rhodesia, whose capital was Kalomo town in 1902, before the administrative offices moved to Livingstone in 1907, which remained the capital town until 1935. 58 years after independence, memories of the province's contribution to the political struggle still linger on.
Kalomo was the first capital city of northwestern Rhodesia. That much people must understand very clearly. Knowing that Kalomo, by then, Zambia was divided in two areas, northwestern Rhodesia and northeastern Rhodesia. For northwestern Rhodesia, it was Kalomo which was the first capital city, whilst northeastern Rhodesia was in Fort Jameson, which is currently Chipata.
A very unique and special place in the political history of this country, going as far back as pre-independence times, when we paid host to two administrative capitals, one after the other, under the Northern Rhodesia administrative setup, where the first capital, of course, was Kalomo, which later on was moved to Livingstone, before moving it finally now to Lusaka, which is still the administrative political capital for the country. So we have that rich history in terms of the political history of this country.
It is in Kalomo district where the country's first legislative council was established, which later became the National Assembly of Zambia. Although the first National Assembly of Zambia building has seen its good days, the building of the first State House, which was the house for the then colonial governor, is still visibly intact.
We have sites like Administrator's House in Kalomo, our first city house, located in Southern Province for that matter. We have the site for the first parliament, again located in Kalomo, and many other sites that we are managing. At 58, we want to comfortably say the works that have been done by the Commission, highlighting the importance of keeping our history, the importance of keeping our memory, lest we forget where we came from, is that we're a much stronger nation at 58 because the early leaders decided to unite us through marriage. The early leaders decided to unite us by transferring us to other provinces where we are not comfortable, be it language or distance.
Of all the towns in Northern Rhodesia, colonial Livingstone took on much of the British characteristics with strongly marked social segregations. Vicious acts of oppression gave Africans the will to fight for independence.
Kaguli muguwa bagali muntu agali kuyosha nyebo nkumwa tagabona twe twagamubona bagali muntu uyosha milawonjaga jisi abupangwe mbwapangira muntu si amuguwa twali jisi fiva yali kutupenya kumba ubona muguwa kwire kubimba no wenyena ataguji.
That place, it was a butchery.
only for whites. Strictly a small window was for Africans. I used to buy myself meat through the window, and I could see whites coming in, going out. In Choma here, there were some schools in Monze, I can remember, strictly for whites. No Africans who could have been allowed. I remember Daniel Smoroka. He wanted to go and register his daughter. I was carrying the daughter on my shoulders to go to register. And we were refusing to enter even the gate. Where are you taking? We want this child to enter the school. He's a black. He cannot be allowed. That annoyed the Africans, especially those who were already enlightened, who knew their rights. We didn't know about this segregation. We thought it was common, but they started teaching us up to this ante-hill. That's when we opened our minds and said it's better to die than to live in such a situation.
In Namwala, a rural district of Southern Province, was a gallant freedom fighter, Hali Mwanga Nkumbula, who, along with others, led the country to independence on October 24, 1964.
Hali Mwanga Nkumbula is regarded as the father of Zambian politics. He started politics in Zambia. So we have that statue outside there which talks about him as a politician, him as a person, him as his contributions to the history, to the political history of Zambia until his death in 1983.
To lead the country to political freedom, a huge resource base was required to sponsor a team of freedom fighters to travel to London to meet with the British government. Sam Lyamomba, a tree located in Monze district of Southern Province, was a unique meeting place for strategic decision making.
Sam Lyamomba kubo tukukalira kuli byatwambo. Kwali kuli hwikwa twambo twakutino muguwa tulamutanda buti.
Cattle ranching, a cultural heritage for the people of Southern Province, was significant in raising the much-needed resources for the air ticket.
A place called Sam Lyamomba, which is situate in Monze district of the Southern Province, was paying host to people of Southern Province converging at that particular location to donate their resources, particularly animals and mainly cattle that would later on be sold so that money would be realized to assist those who were in the freedom struggle, including the larger chunk of the money that needed to be and was raised to send then President Kaunda, before he became president, and his group of now Zambians who traveled to Lancaster to go and get a white paper which later on became the Zambian constitution.
Nebo batata bandihala bagasanga musune wa mulala utwali uhoraga twamukurura pankaga bahala batata mutala ngandu bagasanga musune wa mabala bantomu abo bangombe twajiwa kubabinga kuba leta ubuno kuti bayuswanga naye ina ngombe utayisambarwe ubemali kumbula unke London mwani wa watoto mboja gendogo so obusena kayigwa ali kusiswa kuti muwa tabone kuti kulicho babamba kusisigia pesi kumbula wagaunka kuinda mu kusisigia lesame cho lili very important cho liyandiga terere bantu bonse uhumbwa muna Zambia abike bulemu kujinteji kambo paga yila bulero
This memorable trip opened the rigid barriers for Mother Zambia to attain her independence. A general election was held and the United National Independent Party UNIP, with Kenneth Kaunda as its leader, led the country to independence victory. Post-independence, political wrangles among politicians threatened Zambia's stability. Two rival political parties, the ruling United National Independent Party, UNIP, led by Kenneth Kaunda, and Harry Mwangankumula's opposition party, the African National Congress, ANC, did not have consensus over a number of issues.
Freedom fighters used to fight each other. ANC, for instance, and UNIP were fighting for whatever reasons.
To end this political rivalry, a peace treaty was signed by the two political leaders.
To avoid the friction of political parties in a quest to provide national unity and peace so that there is stability, now to focus on the economy. Choma Declaration was signed here in Choma, in Shampande, area where there is today a national monument.
A freedom fighter, Bernard Namula, vividly recalls the events of that day.
From Choma Secondary School, we moved, because I was there, we moved to this square where Kaunda and Nkumbula shook hands to start with. They shook hands on this high ante-hill. To the amazement of everybody, because these people were regarded as enemies. So, to see them shake hands and declare to people that no more fighting, it was amazing. We were all gratified. But later on, each leader addressed the multitude. There were people who gathered here to listen to what Kumbula was going to say, to listen to what Kaunda was going to say. Kaunda said, if I can remember very well, that no more fighting. Zambia has got independence, which we were fighting for. Everybody is included here.
The records of this important peace treaty are well documented here at the Choma Museum.
So as a museum, to express the importance of the Choma Declaration, we have put up an exhibition which talks about what happened on the 27th of June 1973 here in Choma at Choma Secondary School. And to put its milestone, we have put up a statue. We have mounted a statue in honor of Harry Mwangankumula, who played a significant role during the signing of this declaration.
For 58 years now, Zambia has enjoyed political stability resulting from the Choma Declaration, and the United Party for National Development, UPND, ushered into government during the August 12, 2021 general elections, wants this peace maintained beyond this generation.
As we celebrate and commemorate 58 years of independence, we must be cognizant that peace is a constant struggle, and we must consistently struggle to maintain it. People of this country, through the elections of 2021, have rescued the country from that trajectory of violence, which was reaching proportions as if state-sponsored, but of course sponsored by a political party or parties with the authority to have done so at that particular moment. So those lessons are a big reminder that peace cannot be taken for granted. It can easily slip off your hands, and that is why we must at all times as citizens be law-abiding, but most importantly, ensure that we hold our elected officials accountable to the way and manner in which they go about managing national affairs, particularly to do with adherence to the rule of law, because that is the basis and foundations upon which peace and unity of a country is secured.
Lack of transparency and accountability, coupled with poor citizen participation in the country's development process, is a threat to peace. The government is keen on maintaining peace by meeting people's aspirations through an inclusive governance system.
We now are at a stage where we are beginning to see, before our own eyes, a leadership of President, HH, beginning to unlock Zambia's economic potential. Firstly, by ensuring prudent management of national and natural resources to ensure that whatever Zambia has been endowed with is utilized prudently for the benefit of an ordinary Zambian. And so we are seeing the turnaround of the economy. We are seeing expanding investments in mining, in tourism, and other investment sector destinations, which has given Zambia's economy a new lease of life. Now you are seeing the kwacha beginning to, become buoyant against major convertible currencies. You are seeing inflation, which is the speed at which prices increase, slow down to single digit. You are seeing the cost of living, beginning to reduce its escalation, and we are seeing increased opportunity for ordinary people. We are seeing young people who have left institutions of learning, having graduated, now beginning to have opportunity to get employed. You're also seeing that what has been choking our economic endeavor, which is Zambia's international debt, that debt is being restructured, and then Zambia is beginning to block major financial deals such as the IMF stimulus package. So this is a country whose economy is on a move towards progress, and therefore, for us, as New Dawn administration, in line with what we have stood for, that having had political freedom 58 years ago, we now need to begin on a day like this, Independence Day, to begin to evaluate our economic emancipation freedoms. That is the freedom we need to be talking about today. The sacrifices of the old 58 years ago should never be forgotten. They should always be appreciated. But we believe that it is a better way to keep those memories alive today by being able to overcome the challenges of the freedoms of the moment. The colonialism of the moment has to do with massive unemployment and underemployment, especially amongst the young people. It has to do with poverty out there. It has to do with issues to do with climate change and consequences of climate change. Those are the issues of the moment. Issues to do with food on the table, taking children to school. No wonder this administration has given free education so that young people can all have an equal opportunity to get that equalizing opportunity of an education that does not look at which family one comes from, but that the opportunity is made available to all.
A stable political system and good governance remain key towards the attainment of a sustainable socio-economic recovery.
Kainduse twagali pengete uyo wakuchaikwa twangwa magole sunu twagalile. Kainduse twagali pengete uyo wakuchaikwa twangwa magole sunu twagalilela. Twagalilela gaga ae twagalilela, ae twagalilela sunu twagalikalela. twagalilela sunu twagalikalila wambire mudala kaindise twagali pengete uyo wakuchaikwa wangwa magole sunu twagalile kaindise twagali pengete uyo wakuchaikwa wangwa magole sunu twagalilela gaga ae twagalilela